Our next focus for the next few minutes is the J-League. Now, a few years ago, we knew it was very exciting because there was a team called Antlers in there when I last spoke to you about this, Alex. But hopefully you've done a little bit more research since. What's going on? And I do believe it's building to a bit of a climax this season. Yeah,
I think there's only 3 games to go. The Antlers are in it, but they're sort of thirds. They're probably an outside shot for the title. But in terms of the way things stand, as we go into the international break, you've got the Urawa Reds, who are top. They're 5 points clear, so it really is in their hands. And then behind them, you've got Gamba Osaka, who are having a superb season, seeing as they got promoted from the second division last year. So they're a big J-League team, but they went down, and now they're back in the big time. So they're second, 5 points behind. Could have cut that deficit, but they conceded a last-minute equaliser at the weekend just gone. It was a tough blow to take. I was reading about it, and the writer said, because they were fairly confident they were going to win because they were playing a team that are in the relegation zone, and they said, I think it was, overconfidence is always punished in the J-League. Always.
I didn't know that was a rule.
It was a fact of life, apparently.
Okay.
I think it was excessive confidence is always punished in the J-League, and they were punished. But they play the Urawa Reds next game, crunch match. But also, it's important for Gamba Osaka because they've got a potential treble in the offing. They've just won the Nabisco Cup. They beat reigning league champions Hiroshima 3-2 in the final. They were 2-0 down on the Nabisco Cup, which is named after a confectionery brand. So, in case you were wondering, confectionery/bakery. They've won, and they're also in the semi-finals of the Emperor's Cup, which is sort of the Japanese equivalent of the FA Cup, which is pretty much all tiers of Japanese football can get involved, right down to college teams and even the top high school teams. Imagine that.
High school teams?
Yeah, imagine you're in sixth form and just end up playing, someone from the J-League. So in the semi-finals of that, it's definitely in the Urawa Reds' hands, but Osaka, if they can win that game just after the break, which people are saying could be one of the biggest games in J-League history.
Has there been? Do you know if there's been many trebles previously?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It's been done before.
It's a rare thing in any league. I think it might have never been done before.
That's one for Twitter. If you know, is there anyone in the J-League won a treble before? We'd love to know. They've had 20 years.
Especially after getting promoted last year as well.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
That's that then, and we'll very much keep our retinas on that in the next couple of weeks. I know there's an international break, so it's kind of business time, but it's kind of like leisure time, then it's business time.
So your holiday before your big pitch.
Yeah, tie untucked. But as we say, we're having a little bit of a look at the legacy of leagues, and the J-League in general, Nathan's been going for a good 20 years now. Have they made significant progress?
They seem to be doing everything that countries around them aren't in certain ways. Like their development, I think they've reached the knockout round of the World Cup the last 4.
Well, they've definitely got to
not knockout, but sorry.
Second round is their domain.
Yeah,
second round out.
So I mean, they've been making a lot of progress in the World Cup. Their national league, the average attendance is up every year. The 38 professional teams now, and the Japanese Football Association said they want 100 professional teams in 100 years. Everything seems to be going well. Fan culture, fan support. It's intense, and it seems to be a bit of a whirlwind, if I'm honest with you. They seem to be building a grassroots movement that perhaps China could learn a thing or two from, whereas they might be spending the money on foreign stars. Japan seems to be operating something from the ground up that's working pretty well. So,
tell me about the 100-year promise.
Yeah,
super grandiose.
I'm not too sure of all the intricacies of it, but from 1992, when the J-League was founded, the Japanese Football Association said they wanted 100 professional teams within 100 years. I think it's a 100-year promise, and they've got 38 within 22, so they're well on track, and I think that snowball's going to come.
You'll remember they also had a World Cup smack bang in the middle of that,
exactly,
which I think has helped things. And they've got a lot of stadium infrastructure, so that's given a really, really strong foundation.
And they were a franchise system, or maybe not franchise system, but they did have playoffs, and now they've got promotion and relegation as well. So they're really incentivizing the operation of those leagues every year, and they're coming up with new formats and fan engagement. So it's a pretty exciting time over there. Yeah,
I think particularly, especially on MLS, because I know that's where massively your expertise is brilliant there. But it's kind of interesting how the J-League actually did have playoffs for a while, and then eventually just went with the European format. It's kind of interesting.
It's definitely interesting, and I don't know too much. I'll hold my hands up. I don't know too much about Japanese footballing history, but in prior leagues, but I know MLS and American soccer was very, very conscious about not making the same mistakes as were made in the 70s and prior years in the 20th century. So there might be a little bit of history with Major League Soccer that wasn't necessarily present with the J-League, but you know, in the next 10, 15, 20 years, who knows what's going to happen in America. It could seemingly bow to the pressure of the A-League, the J-League, and all of these leagues that have implemented playoffs, promotion relegation after a certain amount of time. It's going to be a bit testy just because of the different types of sports in America that don't use promotion relegation. But
yeah, I personally hope they make the move. It's like chips without ketchup. I think that needs to be the poster campaign to really sort that out. Is international duty for many nations in the coming weeks. I believe on Friday for a lot of teams. Japan got a relatively new coach, Javier Aguirre, I believe his name is. What can you tell me about him?
Yeah, he's a Mexican. He took over after the World Cup. A fairly disappointing World Cup for Japan. I don't think they got out of the group stage.
Terrible one. In fact, the negativity that they put out, they were one of my least favourite teams to watch at the World Cup, actually.
But their fans picked up all the litter at the end of matches.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But the kind of the metaphorical litter that the team laid down.
No. Yeah, great shirt as well, though. But that's nothing to do with the manager. But anyway, they had Alberto Zaccaroni, an Italian, as the manager, who's stood down, and now, as you say, they've got Javier Aguirre, who's got a good pedigree. He's led Mexico to the 2002 and 2010 World Cups, including in his second spell he took over when they were having a disastrous qualifying campaign under a certain Sven-Göran Eriksson. Mm-hmm. So he picked up the pieces from Sven. He's also managed clubs in Mexico. He's managed in the Liga as well. I think Osasuna, Atletico Madrid, Real Zaragoza as well. Got Atletico Madrid into the Champions League for the first time in a decade, I think. He's been pretty successful wherever he's been.
I think a lot of Japanese fans are, when he was first appointed, slightly concerned that all of those nations and clubs you mentioned are great, but they're all Spanish focused, so a little bit of a culture shock. And then looking to recent results, it does seem like that potentially has been the case because they haven't won a game. I think they won one game in 4. I think one of those being against Jamaica, the Reggae Boys, when the Reggae Boys are all over them as well. So, it might be a slight false dawn for them.